by Wingstop. Packed house here, and the stakes for the #1 seed in the East could not be higher. Down 3-1 in the series with the resurgent Indiana Pacers, fresh off what was, for all intents and purposes, a historic playoff win. Looking to end this thing here and now tonight. As we welcome you to Cleveland, Spiro Dedes and Greg Anthony, the major question coming into this game tonight, the health of Donovan Mitchell. And for the very latest, let's check in with Jared Greenberg.
Well, Spiro, Donovan Mitchell will indeed play tonight, dealing with a left ankle sprain that he has suffered back on April 6th that ultimately cost him the last 4 games of the regular season. He then re-aggravated that same left ankle in Game 3 of the series and then cost him the second half of Game 4 on Sunday. I can tell you he did have an MRI yesterday. That imaging confirmed a sprain and did not reveal any additional damage. Donovan did not look limited at all on pregame warm-ups tonight. He told me after he got those shots up that he is good to go, fellas.
All right, so the night starts with good news, Jared. Let's see what he looks like physically as we take a look at our starting lineups presented by Kia. No change for either team. One injury note, no Sam Merrill tonight for the Cavs. Not available due to a neck injury. So all that said, the other night, such a nightmare for Kenny Atkinson and the Cavs. GA, how do they put the pieces together? How do they win this game tonight?
Well, I think it starts with Evan Mobley. The defensive player of the year has got to control the paint on both sides of the basketball court, and he did not do that in their last outing. If you look at it from the Pacers standpoint, Tyrese Halliburton has had a lot of success in this building this postseason. Does he have one more in him to seal the deal here tonight?
The Indiana Pacers, going back to last season in the playoffs, have won their last 3 opportunities at series clinching games. That goes back to their Game 6 first-round clincher over Milwaukee last postseason. All part of that surprise run to the conference finals as a 6th seed. Can they take care of business in one of the most difficult road environments in the NBA? James Capers, Ben Taylor, Mark Lindsay, our officiating crew, and we're off and running here in Cleveland. Darius Garland immediately looking for Mobley on the box, but it's deflected, and some of that significantly improved Pacers defense. Andrew Nembhard. So a stop at one end and a lay-in at the other for the Pacers.
Just not the start if you're the Cavs you're looking for. And if you're the Pacers, you want to come out with the same kind of force you had in display in Game 4. But how about Garrett Allen? Another big who was a non-factor in their last game. I really feel like the Cavs have to establish, I'll give you a football term, their ground game. They've got to own the paint. That's going to be key here tonight.
Andrew Nembhard on the attack, couldn't finish with a left-handed scoop attempt. Strus. Allen, good activity, trying to keep it alive. Mobley, extra possession. Garland from deep. Misses badly, tracked down in the corner by Halliburton. First thing Kenny Atkinson said in our conversation with him, force and energy. We didn't play with either in Game 4.
And I was shocked. You know, not that they didn't win, but they didn't have a chance to win. And we get a foul on Max Strus there. You see Kenny Atkinson. He was obviously disappointed, and he said he didn't have a great feeling going into Game 4. And let's see if his feelings are a little bit better tonight, because they're going to need to step up with great energy, especially here early.
So Max Strus, the man hit for with the personal, puts Pascal Siakam at the free throw line. Atkinson talked about just how tough Game 3 was, the emotions. He said it was almost like a Game 7 for us, down 0-2 in the series. With the series shifting to Indianapolis, it took so much out of them. And obviously there was a hangover, there's no doubt, with the way his team looked in Game 4.
And Spiro, I'll be honest, I was surprised to hear that, because you go down 2-0, you're the #1 seed. Every game from that point on has got to take the mindset of a Game 7. It's literally an elimination game. And whether you win or not is not the issue, but whether you compete at a high level is.
So Garland has missed his first 2. It looks like Garland's got a little bit of a limp to his gait. We've seen him labor since coming back. 3rd game back from him since missing those 4 games. Remember, he was out more than 2 weeks. Here comes Donovan Mitchell. No limp to his gate at the start. The spin. And misses off the back rim. So the Cavs wanted their first 5 from the field. A couple of minutes gone by. Early stages. Into the corner. Siakam tees one up. And both teams cold at the start.
Yeah, a little bit of anxiousness, it feels like, on both sides.
Mobley playing with purpose here at the start.
And Sparrow, that was an example of force, right? There was some resistance there, but he didn't get deterred by it. He stayed relentless on that attack to convert.
Andrew Nembhard, who's been such a catalyst, gets it to Halliburton. It rims out from deep. And the rebound knocked into the waiting arms of Max Strus. So Indiana, one of their first 5. As Halliburton is going to be hit with a reach-in foul, and you know he's public enemy #1 in this place.
Here's that attack, and again, not settling. I thought the Cavs settled. They were on their heels so much in that last game. You have got to be the one that dictate in terms of your force, your energy, and activity level.
Allen gets it to Garland, who's going to get him reset, chased by Aaron Nesmith. Just so many perimeter defenders at Rick Carlisle's disposal. Mobley won't get a better look than that with Siakam pulling the loose change. Here comes Siakam, Euro step to the rack. Well, you should not be able to do that for a guy his size. What a finish by Siakam.
And you know that Siakam is a gamer. He has been in these moments before and has that ability.
Darius Garland trying to turn the corner. Cavaliers, some early offensive hiccups. Mobley steps back, so the Cavs are now 2 of 8 from the field, and they've missed their first 3 from deep. Siakam on the baseline, who will pull Turner, and he's going to shoot free throws. James Capers says he was in the act of a putback attempt as Max Strus is going to be hit with his second personal. There's Rick Carlisle. There's just no moment, there's no experience that he hasn't lived in his many years as an NBA head coach. Just passed Larry Bird the other night. Most playoff wins now in franchise history.
Quite the compliment. And that's a huge play there, though. Max Strus just picked up his second foul. Remember, the Cavs are shorthanded. No Sam Merrill tonight. And that's also been an issue as Miles Turner misses that free throw. Their bench has been a non-factor for the most part. The Pacers have owned the second units. They have been far better and more consistent throughout this series.
By the way, Rick did confirm that that is the only statistical category that he has surpassed Larry Bird and will ever surpass Larry Bird. But what a coaching run it's been for Carlisle as he continues to match wits with Kenny Atkinson. So Max Strus stays on the floor with 2. And obviously when you consider what's at stake tonight for the Cavs, Kenny Atkinson and his staff going for broke. Donovan Mitchell working against Nembhard. Look at the defense by Nembhard. Sticking with Mitchell, not giving him an inch.
And every shot thus far for the Cavs has been front rim. It's been short.
Miles Turner, a little bit too much. And Garland tracks down the long Karam. Mobley. Mitchell from deep. Mitchell's had 1 good game in this series from 3. It was in that Game 3 victory in Indianapolis. This is Nesmith, corner 3, rims out, but a nice heady play by Strus to knock it out of the hands of Siakam.
Yeah, just a little hesitation there by Nembhard.
Here comes Mitchell, lopping from Mobley, and he's going to shoot free throws.
And that's what the Pacers have done a great job of. Their point of attack defense, they have not allowed for the Cavs to put them in rotation. They've done a really good job in that regard here to start this game. One of the few times you've seen them been able to get deep into the interior there against the Pacers.
The NBA on TNT is brought to you by the Kia Telluride X-Line. Kia, official automotive partner of the NBA. Gee, it's just such a crazy moment that the Cavs are in tonight. Just think of how great they were in the regular season. 64 wins, second most in franchise history. Title hopes that were so strong in this city. And suddenly 3-1. How do they respond in this kind of a moment tonight? Turner poked away. Here comes Mitchell off to the races, to the rack, and he hits. And he's headed to the free throw line.
That's Halliburton. I think that's his second.
And it is massive early call in this game against Indiana.
And it was Mitchell that came up with the steal in attack mode there. And Rick Carlisle wasting no time, immediately going to the bench.
So Benedict Mathurin, who of course was ejected just 7.5 minutes into that last game. The altercation with DeAndre Hunter. We've seen it simmering between those two, and obviously Mathurin's going to be hearing it all night here in Cleveland.
Yeah, and interesting also, he didn't go with T.J. McConnell as the backup point guard. Decided to go with the bigger lineup here and bring Mathurin in.
So it has been physical at the start. Both teams struggling from the field. Indiana, 2 of their first 10. Nembhard. So he's gotten now 2 of their first 3 baskets, and it's a 1-point game.
And more importantly, he's had 3 attacks at the rim here to start.
5th among all postseason players this postseason in assists per game. What a player he's become for the Pacers. Mobley! Beautiful flash and an exquisite pass from Garland.
Yeah, that was a terrific cut against that zone. They were loaded up, 5 sets of eyes on the basketball. And when you get that as an offensive team, you've got to start cutting. Great job there.
Already the second basket for Mobley as Garland got a hand on it. And a good early start for the Cavs trying to get Mobley going.
Yeah, I think he's going to be critical to their success here tonight.
Stages of this first quarter. I want to show you this last sequence. We know about Darius Garland and that injury to his big toe in his left foot. That's the foot he came down on. You're going to see him grimace in pain a little bit hobbled at the end of that play. Obviously trying to strap it on GA. Get through this injury for his team.
Yeah, it's the pain's not going to subside, so he's going to have to figure out a way to fight through it if you're Darius Garland. They are going to need him to have a positive impact on this game.
It was basically all they had going for them offensively the other night. 21 points, his third 20-point game so far of this postseason. Here's Obi Toppin, who had 20 points of his own the other night. And a turnover. Offensive foul and a legal pick on Thomas Bryant.
I think it was an inadvertent elbow. I think as he was driving by, the arm may have swung back.
You're right.
Right there. Yeah, just inadvertent, nothing to that, but it does give the possession to the Cavs.
So we hit the midway point of the quarter. Lead pass, Allen. So already the 2 bigs, Mobley and Allen, looking much more engaged than they did at any point in game 4.
I keep going back to it. That ability to put pressure on the rim, so important for the Cavs. And you can see an offensive foul there on Mathurin. And a completely different look defensively from the Cavs.
Garland lines one up on the weak side rebound by T.J. McConnell, who's checked into the game for Indiana. Aaron Nesmith dribbles around Hunter, taking flight. Nice challenge by Wade, but Nesmith is able to clean up his own mess.
About the second effort there by Nesmith. He just continues to have a positive impact on the game. Does so many things well for the Pacers.
Garland misses the scoop with a left hand. And Mark Lindsay says foul against Allen. That'll be his first. Looks like Isaac Okoro will check into the game for Kenny Atkinson right here.
And Kenny Atkinson has not gone to Ty Jerome. So he has not went that way in terms of his rotation here. Ty Jerome has had his struggles offensively, but he has been such a vital part of their success this season. We'll have to see how much of a change to the rotation the coach makes.
Before you find out about a coach's thinking on a night like tonight, Mathurin, tough shot. He just kind of flung it up there, working against the very skilled defensive player, Isaac Okoro.
That's one of the advantages with Mathurin and Neesmith. They're two guys. They can both shoot the three, but they can also be physical on the attack offensively.
So inside the 5-minute mark left in the quarter, Garland working against McConnell. Gets a screen, pulls up, mid-range J. So sweet from Garland.
And again, I like the aggressiveness. Even though shots haven't fallen, you still got to play the game that your team relies on you to play.
3-point lead for the Cavs. Darius Garland finally getting one. He missed his first 4 shots. Bryant, the spin, taking a little bit of contact from Hunter. No whistle, and it belongs to Cleveland.
Bryant wanted a foul call on that possession. Felt like he got hit on the arm.
Donovan Mitchell, brief rest, back into the game for Kenny Atkinson.
Yeah, that was a good no call there. I didn't see a lot there. There's some banging, but this is playoff basketball. It's going to be physical. I would also say, Spiro, if you're the Pacers right now, you feel good because you've kind of taken it. You knew that that early hit was going to be there from the Cavs, but now they kind of settled into the game and they are right where they want to be.
Mitchell. Well, they're going to put him at the free throw line, but obviously the concern as Mitchell's able to hop right onto his feet. Looks like he's okay. Just frustration as he was ready to tear the roof off this place.
And I think he's probably frustrated that he didn't get that poster because that would have sent this place into a frenzy.
So Donovan Mitchell, one of his first 4, 3 points in 6+ minutes to start. And a chance to push this lead now to 5. Or you rarely see an athlete push himself just to the very edge as Mitchell did and has done in this series. I think to game 2, almost single-handedly trying to will them over the finish line. Don't miss a playoff moment with the NBA app. Download the app today for the latest scores, highlights, and behind-the-scenes access to all the drama.
And early on, you know, this game is taking on one of those, what I call anxiety games. Like both teams are a little tight. Shots aren't falling. Who's going to be able to still play even though they don't have their rhythm? We saw a similar game between OKC and Denver in game 4, right? It was an ugly game in terms of shots, but you can't allow shots going in to affect your play, how physical you are, how focused you are. It's going to be really important here tonight.
Tyrese Halliburton picked up his second personal at the 7:09 mark of the quarter. And he is still on that Pacers bench as we are inside of 4 minutes left. Mathurin steps into a 3, well short.
And we saw a similar dynamic, as you see Tyrese Halliburton there, with DeAndre Hunter after the altercation, right? I didn't think he handled the crowd riding him. It seemed to affect him. And that shot indicative of that as well as Mitchell stays in attack mode.
Second on Toppin. And so Donovan Mitchell will parade himself right back to the free throw line. He's hit his first 3 from the stripe, 5 early points, with Cleveland up 5. And now looks like Rick Carlisle is going to come back here with Tyrese Halliburton, interestingly, with still 3 and change left in the quarter. Gia, you like this move?
I love this move. I was a little surprised, and I think maybe he took him out. Tyrese is still a young player because of how emotional he was in his reaction. Maybe just take him out for a moment, let him calm down, because you mentally being up 3-1, you've got to treat this like a game 7 as well. I mean, you don't want to take any chance. You want your best players on the floor as much as possible, because if you win the night, you're going to have plenty of time to rest to get ready for the next round.
And generally, coaches trust guards more than they do bigs when they get into foul trouble, right?
I would say you tend to trust your best players, you know, because generally when you're a really good player, you understand how to make the adjustment when you're playing with foul trouble.
Siakam misses from the elbow, and the officials say last touch by Indiana.
And the other thing that helps in some regard with a guy like Halliburton, he's not an aggressive scorer. So you don't worry about him picking up an offensive foul or say maybe like a Donovan Mitchell might, because of how he's going to be in attack mode to score the basketball.
Okoro loses his footing and then topping the snatch, but Allen takes it right back. Here comes Mitchell underneath. Boy, smart pass. Allen with a forceful flush.
FanDuel Sportsbook app. It's the best place for all live betting and same game parlays, and it pays out instantly. Who wins tonight, Pacers or Cavs? I'm gonna go with the Cavs. Miss you, Kenny.
I don't think Chuck minds taking the spotlight, and he's going Cleveland.
Well, it is do or die for the Cavs here tonight.
GA, biggest takeaways for you so far, what we've seen in this quarter?
I like the fact that the Cavs have really extended their pressure defensively. They kept the Pacers, as Nembhard knocks down that baseline jumper, they kept the Pacers out of transition, and they've attacked the paint offensively. Already 12 points in the paint. Mitchell comes off a little off, and they've gotten on the offensive glass. So you go back to game 4. Allen and Mobley combined for 4 made field goals. They've already made 5 here to start, and that's how you start to kind of impose your will. You have the bigger team. You should have more of an advantage down low.
Ben Shepherd has checked in for the first time for the Pacers. Here's Nembhard, who's been their best offensive player so far in this first quarter. Shot clock at 4. Nembhard's got a pull. And the rebound corralled by Mobley.
And other than Nembhard's attacks at the rim, everything's on the perimeter. A little bit of a shell game here offensively.
Mobley going right into the chest of Turner. So Cleveland's lead is 9 as they play a 10-2 run. Mitchell the snatch. Donovan Mitchell playing with fire in his belly.
I tell you what, Tyrese Halliburton was very lucky to not pick up his 3rd foul there after the Mitchell steal. He got away with a grab. Watch the grab right there. He got away with it, which benefited the Cavs there as you get Donovan Mitchell playing downhill for the N1.
Well, it's a scary sight for an opposing defensive player as Mitchell's got his 2nd opportunity at an N1 situation already. So Mitchell now 5 of 6 at the stripe, 9 points to lead all scores. And it's an 11-point lead, a 12-2 run for the Cavs. Shepherd steps into a 3 and hits. First made 3 tonight for Indiana. They missed their first 6.
And what did it come off of? An attack by T.J. McConnell, 2 feet in the paint, puts you in rotation, and a great read out for Shepherd.
Well, it's the first made 3 for either team, which is crazy at this juncture of the game, as Mobley is going to be put at the free throw line. And Cleveland, GA, just continues to attack as they're going to take their 9th and 10th free throws of the quarter.
And that's how relentless you got to be. You can't be deterred, and I'm really impressed with the start of Mobley here as Miles Turner picks up his 2nd foul. They are in attack mode on the interior.
Kenny Atkinson said he spoke with Evan Mobley today. You know, the one thing, we need him to be more assertive, but we got to figure out a way to get him more entrenched, and both of his bigs have shown up.
Well, this is an area where they have thrived all season long, and a lot of it is because of their activity. They just have not settled as they did, I thought, in game 4. Tonight they have come out with a much more aggressive mindset.
And look at the discrepancy. What a difference a couple of nights makes. At least so far, so good for the Cavaliers, 2 bigs. Okoro had it initially, unable to gather that loose ball. Siakam, Nembhard from deep. And look at Mobley, the one-handed gather from the rebound.
Yeah, and even though you don't get the steal, the deflection disrupts that possession. And that's what allows you to take that tough contested triple and control the defensive backboard.
Donovan Mitchell sizes up Shepherd. Here he comes on the attack. Little Euro step and the beautiful teardrop floater. Mitchell's got 11 and the Cavs lead is a dozen. Here comes McConnell, gets himself to the box. Now he's going to reset. 12 seconds to shoot, 24 left in the quarter. McConnell stops on a dive, left it well short. Mitchell's going to slow it down. Cleveland's going to hold for the final shot.
I thought for a second he may go. He had an opportunity at a 2-on-1, but they decided let's get the last possession and keep the momentum.
Mitchell, a little bit of a bump. Boy, it looked like he may have hooked Shepherd his arm, but so crafty, so savvy, and more free throws coming up for the Cavaliers.
Well, if you had a blueprint for how the Cavs wanted to play this first quarter, this would be it. No transition opportunities for the most part. Dominate the paint and have your best player consistently get to the free throw line. He will have taken 8 attempts here in the first quarter.
Indiana has not had a fast break point yet tonight, which is an accomplishment considering how lethal this team has been on the break, with Nembhard sitting, Halliburton back in. Donovan Mitchell and Evan Mobley, GA, 22 of the Cavs' 30 points.
And they're your 2 best players. And what's important about that also is it gives confidence throughout your rotation, because when your best players show up like this, that they're telling you, I'm not ready to go home. They like Naptown. They're trying to get back. I think they had one to give there.
They did have one to give. Indiana arguing that there should be free throws. And boy, they're going to put Halliburton at the free throw line.
That is a huge play there. Yeah, he was into his motion, and that's a play, that's a chess move there. And if you're Isaac Okoro, you got to see that he's gathering like that and just let it go. Because he would not, he only did that because he knew the foul was coming. Just a really heads-up play by Halliburton.
So Tyrese Halliburton gets his first points of the night with under 3 seconds left in his first quarter. Remember, he started slow in game 2 a night. We all know how that thing ended. Was in early foul trouble in that game. How does this one end tonight? And that thing nearly went. Well, the clock ticking on the Cavs season. That is all in tonight. Or can they get this series back to Indy? The 2025 NBA playoffs presented by Google.
Hold up and match the force of the Cavs has been Andrew Nembhard. He has been aggressive all quarter. And moments ago, our Jared Greenberg caught up with him.
Andrew, you knew you were going to face a desperate team here. What are some of the areas of focus tonight?
We got to focus on defensive rebounds so we can get out and run and play our game. Just fly around on that side of the ball, really make it tough on them, picking them up full court.
After holding Mobley and Allen in check the last couple of games, they've combined for 16. What are the keys to limit them?
We just got to straighten the floor, especially in those ball screens. Be ready with the MIG and just fly around from there, but be physical with them.
Appreciate you doing this.
Andrew Nembhard, what a player he's become. Second year in the league. As you look at some of the numbers, GA, from the box score, Cavs all 5 from 3, but you like the balance that they're playing with offensively.
They're not settling. They're in attack mode. They're dictating. And the thing about all those shots at the rim, it gives you a chance to control the defensive transition, because that's another element of this. Keep the Pacers in the half court.
Hunter, full extension. So 7 fast break points for Cleveland and still none for the Pacers.
And the Pacers, they're not a team built to play slow or to play late in the shot clock.
3-time All-Star Pascal Siakam working, shot clock winding down. Siakam, Wade, excellent defense. McConnell somehow saves out of the corner. It was Siakam who kept it alive.
Great effort there, but you can see the defense. Look how difficult it is for the Pacers to get an uncontested look.
But Mitchell took it away from Shepard, and then he coughs it up at the other end. Here comes McConnell weaving through traffic. A savvy vet, 6th year playing with this Indiana franchise.
And even, you're going to get a foul on Mitchell, but even after the live ball turnover there, you saw the Cavs get back defensively, because you know T.J. McConnell's probing. He's trying to get into the teeth of that defense, because that's what triggers their offense. They're trying to get you in rotation.
Mathurin back in for Rick Carlisle. What about this thing from Indiana's point of view? A quarter and a minute 15 GA in the second quarter. What have you seen?
I don't like the passiveness. They just seem to be on their heels a little bit, allowing the Cavs defensively to dictate their possessions.
Siakam trying to ignite this offense. A little bit of contact, no whistle. Wade was there. Mitchell changed his mind, but Mobley was expecting the 3 and had his back turned.
And Mitchell,
so another Cleveland turnover.
And that's on Mitchell. He acknowledges that. Again, I like the unselfishness, but you had Mobley with an opportunity on the offensive glass there, and he was expecting Donovan to pull.
Obi Toppin misses, and now the Pacers are 1 of 10 from 3. Cleveland on a 20-7 run, but they've committed back-to-back turnovers by Mitchell. Hunter's going to pull. And finally, Cleveland with its first triple of the night. Largest lead of the game for the Cavs. Siakam with the silencer and contact.
DeAndre Hunter has had his struggles really all series long shooting the basketball, but how about the attack here by Siakam? Not to be deterred by the physicality. Gets the and-one.
So Pascal Siakam, 9th year in the league, selected to his 3rd All-Star game this season. First as a Pacer. Remember, they got him in January of last year, that midseason trade that really changed the fortunes of this Pacers franchise. Key piece on that surprise run to the conference finals. And now trying to take this franchise one step further.
And I like the fact, he hadn't shot it well, but he's been aggressive. And he's been aggressive to attack, which you like, trying to just stem the tide here from the Cavs.
15-point game. Mobley working against Toppin. The spin, the hook, and he puts it down. What a start from Mobley. He's got a dozen.
When he plays like this, he is a different animal.
Obi Toppin the turn, and he's going to shoot free throws. And if it's on Max Strus, that's going to be his 3rd personal. And it is, as James Capers makes the call. Let's see how Kenny Atkinson handles this. Again, we mentioned at the top, no Sam Merrill for Cleveland. We still haven't seen Ty Jerome, as Atkinson has kind of tweaked his rotations.
Yeah, and I think the thought process with no Ty Jerome, they've gone with a more defensive-minded rotation, right? With Dean Wade and Isaac Okoro. Those are guys that are better point-of-attack defenders. And I think because Ty has had such a struggle scoring it, what he does best, he hasn't been able to provide. And in this scenario, they've got to get it done defensively.
The NBA on TNT is brought to you by Pepsi. Food deserves Pepsi. So great to have you with us downtown Cleveland. Game 5, the Cavaliers, the top seed in the East. A team that won 64 games this season, playing to save their season tonight. Got possession and a 15-point lead. Halliburton effects, knocked it away, but then Mobley the loose ball. Here comes Hunter, nice little feed, Allen.
That's an example right there, just having a little bit more effort are the Cavs getting to that loose ball.
Boy, Aaron Nesmith is fouled on a 3-point attempt. Officials are going to get Garland. As we are just inside the 9-minute mark, Garland's first. And Aaron Nesmith, a 91% free throw shooter, with a chance to cut into this deficit.
Yeah, you can see, got him up top. Not a lot, but it doesn't take a lot. And the officials are going to give the benefit of the doubt to the shooter most times in that situation.
Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today and make every playoff moment mean more on America's #1 sportsbook. Aaron Neesmith and Darius Garland, former collegiate teammates at Vanderbilt. Right around the time that Garland actually suffered that torn ACL as a collegiate, actually opened the door for Neesmith. His role expanded. So two guys that go back to their days together in Nashville.
And what a luxury for Neesmith to get traded, because he wasn't going to get as much of an opportunity playing behind Tatum and Brown, to come to Indiana as a young player and get an opportunity to be a part of the rotation and grow with this young group.
So we are inside the 9-minute mark in the first half. Cavaliers shooting percentage up now to 56%. Hunter coming with some serious heat.
He looks like a completely different player than what we saw in the last outing.
He was so good during the second half of the season after they got him in the midseason trade, but he just has not looked like himself so far in the series up until tonight. But what a start for Hunter. He's got 7. Turner, a little bit of a low pass from Halliburton. A turnover.
Yeah, you see great hesitation there, able to turn the corner to get the finish.
Rick Carlisle's going to try to get him regrouped. But the pressure of the moment for the Cavs, trying to extend their season on TNT. By Wingstop. As we welcome you back in Cleveland, we want to shout out some of our incredibly talented men and women from our crew. Our camera operators, Ted Van Allen, Renee Champagne, Corey Alberti, Matt Regenball, in video, Travis McKinnon, Tessa Gower. Our graphics crew, just sensational, James Simpson. Tech managers, Mark Bick, Jeff Werner. And our engineers, Andrew Toshke, Brad Bielik, and Ray DeFrancis. Our crew that doesn't nearly get the love that they deserve, bringing you these pictures and graphics.
No better group in the business, and I got a sneaky suspicion, Spiro, you're going to be buying drinks after tonight.
With pleasure. As Evan Mobley misses a little flick at the rim. But Gia, you just said it during the break. These next 3 minutes vital for the Indiana Pacers, trying to hold this thing together here. Down 17 points. Obi Toppin just picked up his 3rd.
Yeah, if you're Rick Carlisle, you know that this thing can balloon to 25 or 30 real quick, or you can get it down around single digits. Again, you just want to make the Cavs feel you. You're just looking for a chance here on the road, and right now you're allowing them to play with a lot of confidence and a lot of freedom because they're in control.
I just think to how good Indiana was, and really a gut check moment for them. They lost that game 3 at home, with the city jumping, the buzz in that place, and they took one on the chin from the Cavs. They lost that game by 22. But you also saw the experience of a team that made a deep postseason run last year. So they answered the bell. How would Cleveland handle the pressure of this moment? So far, so good as they play with a 19-point lead.
Defensively, they've done a great job, and that's what you want to see if you're Rick Carlisle, your best player coming up, knocking down a shot, settling down this Pacers group here.
It's only the 2nd made 3 tonight for Indiana, as Garland is bumped on the perimeter by Neesmith.
And even though he's knocking that one down, again, defensively, that's what you want, a contested 3. Not allowing the Pacers to really establish a rhythm by attacking you and get into the rim.
Okoro's pass is stolen in the corner by Nembhard. Was the Eastern Conference's Defensive Player of the Month back in November. Underneath Siakam. This is Neesmith. Well covered by Hunter. Neesmith gets it back, extends into a 3. Short. Siakam trying to keep it alive. Neesmith, bodies all over the place. And it's last touched by the Pacers.
You can see how physical it's getting out there. Just great effort by both sides, and Garland still not moving as well as he'd like to. But you love seeing guys get on the floor, attacking the basketball.
That's the kind of blue-collar lunch pail type play that this gritty city like Cleveland appreciates. As Garland obviously trying to get the blood flowing. It's that left foot
And this is something the Cavs have struggled with, getting the ball in bounds all series, whether it be baseline, full court, sideline.
Turner, as Allen is turned back. Turner, one of the elite shot blockers in the sport. And then it's Neesmith connecting from deep. And just like that, we got a 13-point game.
That's what we talked about. It allows for the Pacers to get out in transition. It starts with Halliburton knocking down that triple, then the Turner block for the transition triple from Neesmith.
Upcoming playoff schedule, a couple of game fives here on TNT tomorrow. The Knicks rolling. The Celtics, of course, the devastation of the Jason Tatum injury, and Minnesota with a chance to end that series on their home floor. NBA.com or visit the NBA app. As we throw it over to Jared.
Well, if there's any franchise that's familiar with coming back from being down 3-1, it is this Cleveland Cavalier team back in 2016. Before heading out to Oakland for Game 5 of the NBA Finals, Tristan Thompson told me that the message to the group was, don't get on the plane if you don't believe. Very similar this year. On the Cavs players group chat, Max Strus sent a text that read yesterday, if you don't believe, don't show up for work. Strus said this morning that he doesn't think this team is done yet. Thompson told me that he's telling his teammates to star in your role more than ever tonight. And guys, so far so good with Cleveland up 44-31.
And Jared, the experience that Strus has brought to this team, traded here summer of 2023, the experience of a starter on those two deep playoff runs with the Heat. Kenny Atkinson said he was just exactly the kind of veteran that we needed with this team.
Yeah, no question. And the thing about it, he gives you great shooting, but he's also a terrific two-way player. And I love his tenacity, his toughness. He gives you an edge, and that's something that this Cavs team not necessarily known for. And that's one of the reasons why I think they've been down. They need more of his mindset throughout that roster if you are trying to win a championship.
So the Cavs lead back to 15. Nembhard left open with Hunter stumbling, and Nembhard able to bang in the three, and suddenly Indiana's offense showing life.
And this is a big stretch here because they don't have a true point guard on the floor. They're going to go with Mitchell.
Boy, the tapped in Wade. Hasn't had many moments yet in this series, but a big play as we come up on the midway point of this second quarter. Neesmith working against Mitchell, trying to turn the quarter. Mitchell, excellent defense. Neesmith able to hit nonetheless.
I tell you what, that's something they didn't do in the first quarter. They're winning those one-on-one matchups because that was terrific defense by Donovan Mitchell. Anytime you can make a guy shoot a fadeaway, you want it defensively, but the skill level for Neesmith there just a little bit better.
For the evolution of Aaron Neesmith's game, just stark. He's got 9 points, and then the steal and a loose ball foul here against the Cavs. As Ben Taylor makes the call, penalty situation, so free throws coming up, and a chance for Indiana to get this thing down to 10.
And a lot of this, you see the grab there by Hunter, a lot of this has started with Garland on the bench. Now they don't have that primary ball handler to initiate their offense. And if you notice these last few possessions, they've been disrupted and not really had much flow offensively.
May is Mental Health Awareness Month. Be kind to yourself and each other and give Total Health a shot. You can learn more at NBA.com/Total Health. The other interesting thing, and you mentioned this earlier, we still haven't seen Ty Jerome tonight. So now with Garland, we've seen him kind of grimacing a little bit in pain with that toe injury on his foot.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because if you notice, the Pacers are picking up full court. They know that Okoro's not a natural ball handler, but if you're Cleveland, you'd love for him to be able to initiate the offense where you could have Donovan catching it with a live dribble where he can get into attack.
Indiana Pacers at 1 point down 19, and this is going to be an offensive foul and a legal pick against Wade. Darius Garland's going to come back in. Wade called for his second. Wasn't quite set. Appeared to be the right call by the officials.
That is the right call, and I think it's the grab. Watch that. just down low. You can't quite see him. I think that's part of it. You see him grab with that right hand, and that's where I think he gets called. But even in those situations, as an attacker with the ball, you got to allow that screener to establish position.
Siakam lost the handle on his way up as he attacked Allen.
I think this is a really good decision. I know Garland is struggling with the foot, but they need his ability to get them into their offense.
Darius Garland trying to grit his way through and give his team what he can. Pulls up, a little bit short. So Garland is now 1 for 6, and he's missed all 3 of his shots from deep. Here comes Halliburton, turning the corner, underneath to Turner, a couple of fakes. Couldn't finish. And that's the defense of Evan Mobley, bothering that shot. As we cross the 5-minute mark, Mitchell crosses over. And Mitchell is now 3 of 9 shooting.
You're the Pacers right now. You gotta feel great because you're making the Cavs feel.
Halliburton with a deep shot. And here come the Pacers within 7.
Tyrese Halliburton, he's hit a couple triples here, and all of a sudden this crowd has gotten quiet. 16-4 run.
Boy, this game has turned quickly. Indiana was down 44-25. Since that point, they've outscored the Cavs, GA 16-4. What have you seen from Cleveland? Their offense has gone stagnant here the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think they've gotten a little disjointed. They have not been able to get in. It started when Garland went out of the game. And now with Mobley back, he's got to get a little bit more involved. Extending the pressure there are the Pacers. And that was almost an 8-second violation.
Kenny Atkinson pleading that Garland should have gotten the call. Up, missed it, and it's Wade again, his second putback.
How good has Dane Wade been? Really both sides, attacking that offensive glass, but then also defensively for the Cavs.
We come up on the 4-minute mark before halftime. Miles Turner, shot clock at 9. Halliburton looking for some daylight. He's going to pull again. And Tyrese Halliburton has ignited Indiana's offense.
How about 3 triples here in this second quarter? And you can just see the different energy level here from the Pacers.
Beautiful looking floater from Garland. The Pacers have hit 5 of their last 6 from deep. Andrew Nembhard trying to get himself into the paint. Halliburton on a skip. And there's the heat check.
And another breakdown defensively there by the Cavs, and just great patience from Indiana.
Tyrese Halliburton's offensive game has awoken.
Yeah, he has found his rhythm. Never a guy who's out of control as Tyrese Halliburton. Just stays patient, allows the game to come to him. And all of a sudden now a 2-possession game here with 3:15 to go.
We talked to Rick Carlisle about Halliburton, the moments he's had. His numbers are down a little bit in this series. He said sometimes, look, it's hard to quantify how well your star is playing, but it just comes down to wins and losses. As he's got his team in a position to close this series out. Mitchell misfires from 3, and the officials are going to say, stay here. Last touch by Indiana.
And I tell you, one of the other storylines of this series, it's been the 3-point shooting, right? The Cavs came in leading the postseason. You can see that's off his left hand there. Stay with the Cavs. Again tonight, 1 of 9 from 3. They continue to struggle there, and the Pacers have definitely had more of an impact from beyond the arc.
Now, Cleveland was second during the regular season in 3-point shooting. Garland pounded by Shepard. They turn it over. Here comes Nembhard. They're going to reset. Halliburton calling for it. Barks out to play to his mates. Siakam extends, and they just keep on coming.
They got a cross match there, and Siakam with a great job of posting and just taking advantage of the mismatch.
Well, the resiliency of this Indiana team, just when you thought that they were about to get blown out, what a response. Allen gets tangled up underneath with Nembhard, and the question is, boy, if you're Indiana, how uncomfortable can you make the Cavs with the pressure of the night, everything that's at stake for Cleveland in this game?
Well, they've made them uncomfortable. There's no question with how they have played their 24-8 run, and their defense, the intensity's picked up, and then they have gotten into a great rhythm offensively, led by Halliburton.
So Indiana's run 24-9 over the last 6 minutes, right when they had fallen into a 19-point deficit. Aaron Nesmith a couple of threes, Halliburton a couple of threes, and suddenly we got a brand new game here in Cleveland.
And it's been, you know, the offense we talk about, but defensively they have been different ever since they took Garland out and went without the point guard in that lineup. It really allowed for the Pacers to start dictating defensively and igniting their transition game.
We hit the 2-minute mark before halftime. Halliburton chased by Garland, skips it. Nesmith steps into a three, rims out, follows his own miss, pulls again, and they come up empty. Mitchell on the push, spins, hanging, and they nearly turned it over again. Garland's going to reset. Pacers are out of fouls. Garland tees one up, short.
They have just not been able to make anything from beyond the arc here in this first half.
And again, Indiana just can't generate any fast break opportunities. Just 3 fast break points. Halliburton, and he buries another 3.
And while they're not getting transition points, they're playing faster and creating cross matches, which led to that triple there by Halliburton.
Boy, what a floater. Okoro with the answer.
And the Cavs have gone away from attacking the paint, starting to settle a little too much for the perimeter.
Halliburton, a little bit of a bump, not a Turner. 7 to shoot, sets it up. Siakam, corner 3, short. Mitchell, contact, unable to get the bounce. Mitchell gassed, trying to catch his breath as he will shoot his 11th and 12th free throws of the night. Halliburton, meantime, 15 of his 17 in the quarter.
Yeah, how deep was that triple? But again, the pace, it's their defense. Even though they don't count them as fast break points, when you can play fast, you create cross matches. The defense can't load, and the Pacers taking advantage.
And the other thing Carlisle talked about in terms of Halliburton, you know, the playoff experience that he's got now with this group. 5th playoff series for this core group. Again, that stunning run to the conference finals last year. People are starting to take notice, and boy, they're late to the party because this has been just an unbelievable turnaround. Remember, they started slowly this year, 10-15, 25 games into the year. But since January the 1st, 4th best record of any team in the NBA for Indiana.
And they look so much more comfortable now. They took that early hit. They've now been able to kind of get into their game. And they've got this crowd on edge.
Final 20 seconds of the half. Halliburton probing, working against Garland, looking for some daylight, dribbled it off of his foot. Okoro dives for the loose ball. Officials say jump. 0.8 seconds on the shot clock if the Pacers control the tap.
Yeah, you can see here just a good job by Okoro. Just disrupted Halliburton a little bit there, dribbles off his foot and then dives in immediately. That's a huge play there. Probably not going to be enough time. 0.8 is enough time to get a shot off, but after the tip, you're going to create a challenge. So this is a huge advantage here for the Cavs.
So 10.5 left in the half. As Rick Carlisle trying to get his lineup set here. Ben Shepard reinserted. Thomas Bryant is in the game. It'll be Neesmith and Okoro. Looks like another chance. Jarris Walker will check in for Carlisle. First time tonight. Trying to match up with what he's seeing from the Cavs. And Siakam is going to sit. Got to work quickly here with 0.8 on the shot clock if you're Indiana. Both teams are in the bonus. Two fantastic leapers, and it's Mobley. And here we go, 4 seconds. Mitchell elevates. Clean look. So Mitchell ends the quarter without a field goal.
And only 5 for 21 are Garland and Mitchell in that first half. They are gonna have to give more.
A 19-point Cleveland lead is down to 4 at halftime. Second round coverage on TNT is presented by Wingstop. Second round coverage on TNT is presented by Wingstop. Nightfall downtown Cleveland. Boy, you can sense the urgency. Everything at stake for the Cavaliers trying to keep their season alive and get this series back to Indianapolis. As we welcome you courtside, Spiro, Adidas, and GA. We'll hear from Jared here in just a second as we get to our Mountain Dew splash play. Tyrese Halliburton, really quiet first quarter, but boy, did he start to cook in the second.
Yeah, he just has a feel for when to go for it. And I thought he just was patient throughout the game, understanding they're going to have a moment. And boy, did he in that second quarter. He gave a lot of life to this Pacers team.
GA, meantime, what did you see from the Cavaliers? They were up 19 points with 8 minutes left in the second quarter, and then everything just kind of changed with their offense.
Now listen, Donovan Mitchell's their best player, but Evan Mobley tonight and Jared Allen have been their most effective players. They've got to get back to playing through that dynamic duo on the inside. That's where the advantage was. I felt like they went away from that, and that's what allowed for the Pacers to get back into it.
Let's check in with Jared.
Spoke to Jenny Busek, assistant coach for the Pacers, coming out of halftime, and she said it was a process-oriented halftime meeting where we challenged our bench to be better. Our big theme this year has been wearing teams down. We have to get back to doing that, and mostly, she said, we cannot let the Cavs play downhill.
All right, Jared, let's see if they heed their coach's advice. Pascal Siakam, the 3-time All-Star, spinning turnaround, tough shot against an excellent defensive player in Jared Allen.
Yeah, that was really good defense there. And this is where I don't want. I like to see them allow Mobley to get 2 feet in the paint and work on that post game.
Evan Mobley, so exactly the way Cleveland started the night. They begin the third quarter.
Yeah, I mean, he's able to score there, but that's not the way ideally you want it. You want him to get some opportunity to get a Nembhard there with a dislodge on the offensive foul. But I'd like to see them run some action and then get him on that low block. He's got an advantage matchup-wise for the Cavs.
Boy, if anyone told us that Garland and Mitchell would shoot 5 of 21 in the first half and lead, you may raise your eyebrows as Garland hits a driving scoop and a quick timeout for Carlisle.
And not happy with that uncontested layup there to start.
Spread for tonight's game. A look at where it started, 8.5, currently 10.5.
Ooh, that's a big jump there. And I tell you what, you saw Rick Carlisle with the quick timeout. Look at how disengaged defensively the Pacers have been. They've been physical. They've been great at the point of attack, and nobody willing to step over. That is unacceptable when you've got a chance to get to the conference finals.
But Carlisle immediately tries to nip it in the bud with that quick timeout.
As he should, because you got to get your guys refocused, because they are in still a great position here.
Second personal charge to Garland with $1:05 gone by now in the quarter. So Cleveland at one point up 19. Kenny Atkinson's bunch saw their lead cut to 4 at halftime. And right now it's at 8.
And something Jared said, I think, is spot on. That look, the Pacers have already won the battle of the bench because they forced Cleveland to shrink theirs. They still have confidence in their group. They know they're going to have time here to wear this Cavs team down.
Donovan Mitchell, he's blocked by Turner, and look at Nembhard. What a sequence that is so indicative of what this Pacers team has become. Mitchell slowed up just a little bit.
Yeah, he just
Boy, he miscalculated.
Yeah, that's a huge play, too. I mean, Turner looks like he's laboring a little bit.
Boy, Cleveland is arguing that that hit the glass before Turner got to it. Looks like they're just talking about the shot clock. They're going to put a couple of seconds back on. What a play by Turner and then Nembhard.
Yeah, and you have to wonder if the injury played a role in that for Mitchell after the steal. But you cannot assume that the opponent's going to just give up on the play.
Donovan Mitchell, by the way, does not have a basket since the first quarter. Turner again is there to bother the play. So back-to-back defensive gems by Turner. Here comes Halliburton. Scores 15 in the second quarter. Turner initiated a contact, and he's called for a travel.
Yeah, switch pivots there. That was a great job by Jared Allen, not allowing the dislodge there from Turner.
Cleveland Cavaliers, a team that won 34-7 in this building this season. Got to get one tonight. Max Strus missed it. Mitchell there. And again, unable to finish right at the rim. You just have to keep wondering about that left ankle for Mitchell. 2 minutes gone by in the quarter. Turner turns and makes it look easy over the top of Strus.
This is a really important stretch for Cleveland. They just seem like energy-wise, they've lost a little bit.
First basket tonight for Turner. It is Mobley.
How big is that basket? And again, I go back to this. I think they've got to incorporate him into their offense a little bit more. He seems like he is ready to be aggressive, but when you're a big, oftentimes you're reliant upon your teammates to get you the ball.
He only averaged about 12, 13 shot attempts per game during the regular season. He's 6 of 8 tonight. Halliburton's going to pull. Back of the rim. And Mobley with his 5th rebound. 9-point Cavaliers lead, 9 and change left early stages, third quarter. Strus chased around by Halliburton. Allen turned back. It's Turner again. Here comes Neesmith going right to the cup. And Indiana within 7.
They are not going to go away. Again, I like the aggressiveness of the Pacers.
Mitchell steps into a 3 too much. And Donovan Mitchell now from the 3-point stripe tonight is 0 of 6.
And as a team, 2 of 14. So that is what was a strength of this team has become a weakness here in this series.
Fisher's going to get Garland. This will be his 3rd personal as he pulled Miles Turner to the floor. Again, the Cavs during the regular season, G, to your point, 2nd best 3-point shooting team in the NBA. They entered this night in the series 30%, and they've been even worse so far here in Game 5.
And just watching the game, even though the Cavs are up 7, it just feels like the Pacers are a little bit more connected as a group.
Halliburton doesn't want the screen. Bounce to Siakam, straight away 3, and he connects. A dozen for Siakam, and they're back to within 4. First 3 of the night for Siakam. Here comes Garland, taking a little bit of a bump from Neesmith. So they'll put Garland at the free throw line. And again, the tension starts to rise in this building.
Yeah, just a breakdown there. I'm not sure what their coverage is in the pick and roll, if it's a hedge and or show it and get back, or if they're going to switch. But they just seem indecisive defensively, the Cavs.
Well, you can enter for a chance to win NBA prizes at MichelobUltra.com/courtside, courtesy of Michelob Ultra Zero. 0 alcohol, 29 calories. Try it today. GA, you find out so much about a team, both, of course, from Cleveland's perspective and Indiana. This group, their last 3 chances at a closeout game, they've won all 3.
Yeah, I mean, they just are more in tune with who they are in terms of how they play the game.
Halliburton steps into a 3, and he buries it. Tyrese Halliburton rising to the moment yet again. Garland freed up by a hard screen. They get it to Strus. Corner 3. Strus has been really quiet tonight. Still hasn't hit a basket. He's 0-4.
Early foul trouble definitely had an impact on him getting his rhythm. And the Pacers right now getting whatever they want. They don't knock that down, but their shot quality much better than what we're seeing from the Cavs.
Garland working off the corner, stops on a dime, and the Cavs again have gone cold. Their shooting percentage now is dipped under 45%. Siakam, mismatch with Garland. Allen got a piece. Siakam's gonna fire, and he's put the Pacers in front. And the restlessness here in Cleveland grows. First lead since the early moments for Indiana. Here at Cleveland, the Indiana Pacers have put together a 13-4 run. They've erased a 19-point first half deficit. And right now, GA, they are taking the fight to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah, I mean, the Pacers look like the better team. In some regards, it feels like the Cavs are feeling defeated. The energy has dropped. The activity levels has not been there. Let's see if the substitutions that come with Hunter and Wade, if that can somehow get their mojo back here in the third.
Donovan Mitchell has not hit a field goal since the closing seconds of the first quarter. He's 3 of 14 from the field. Max Strus off balance. Halliburton bothered the shot. And a bad trip for the Cavs out of the timeout. First time Indiana has had the lead since the 8:30 mark of the opening quarter. Siakam takes contact from Wade. Interesting to see how Kenny Atkinson handles his rotations here in the second half. Again, we have not seen Ty Jerome yet, so he's tweaked things, just looking for some kind of a spark.
I tell you, I'd go back to, though, again, they're settling. They have struggled to shoot the ball from the perimeter. They have been really good when they've attacked the rim, and they've just gone away from what's worked for them here tonight.
Siakam. So a 15-4 spurt by the Pacers. Pascal Siakam had some terrific games in the opening round against the Bucks. And he is putting together a huge night and a money spot for the Pacers. Nice little backdoor idea from Strus, deflected out of bounds, 7 to shoot. You just mentioned it during the break. Evan Mobley 6 of 9 from the field. Jared Allen 4 of 6, but they just haven't had many touches here the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, and a lot of times they're not guys that you just throw the ball to and say, go get me one. But you execute offensively and get them in positions where they can be effective. It hasn't been the case here in the second half.
Mitchell, another miss. Strus swallowed up by Siakam. Into the corner, this is Nembhard, pulls a 3. Siakam's gonna get called for an over the back, and he can't believe it. That'll be his 3rd personal. So the Cavs are gonna get it back, but GA, they have not hit a field goal now in more than 4 minutes.
You see, Mitchell goes down, he comes up limping a little bit.
He's clearly feeling the effects of that left ankle that he aggravated.
And right now, this Cavs team, they're searching. And the Pacers, I love the fact that they're staying aggressive defensively.
Max Strus, with Mitchell struggling, just has not been able to put his offensive game together. He's 0 of 7. Who else can pick up the slack? Siakam puts it up. He's going to shoot free throws. So obviously Mitchell laboring, GA. And the question now is, who can pick up the Cavs franchise player?
But this possession here is a perfect example. They get the ball to Siakam in a position where he can attack. They get him at the mid post. They clear it out. You've got to honor the three-point shooting. And we just haven't seen a similar attack from Cleveland offensively. Put Mobley in some situations where he can catch it with his back to the basket and compromise that Pacers defense.
So non-shooting foul, and now the officials make the call the other way.
Just checking the clock. They had a couple seconds come off on the game clock there.
So the 5-second violation and the turnover by Indiana gets it back to the Cavs, playing in a three-point hole as we are past the midway point of this third quarter. Donovan Mitchell, can he ignite his offense into the corner? Okoro comes across the paint. Well played, Siakam. Mobley from deep. But they desperately needed that shot. And Siakam, the loose change. Here comes Neesmith, looking for a seam. Halliburton, good close. Hunter, Halliburton, beautiful teardrop.
And look at the offense. Attack, kick out, get them in rotation, create an advantage for your teammate. And the Cavs have not been doing that here. It's one pass or no pass and then trying a straight line drive. And that has just not been an effective offense here for Cleveland. That's good basketball. You know, you get the ball into the paint, you put them in rotation, you make the right reads out of it, and Halliburton there finishing it off. And how good has he been since the start of the second quarter?
So Donovan Mitchell, boy, worst possible sight for Cleveland, walking into the locker room, or at least towards there, as we check in here with Jared.
Guys, I'll keep you updated on Donovan Mitchell's status as soon as I learn more. But earlier tonight, I had a conversation with Tyrese Halliburton, who told me that he's been motivated to show that last year's run to the Eastern Conference Finals wasn't a fluke. Halliburton's focus all season has been to prove people wrong. He felt like people were taking a victory lap when the Pacers got off to a slow start this season. And guys, Halliburton's gold medal winning teammates have been keeping tabs on him all postseason long, including Joel Embiid, who texted Halliburton the other day telling him to be more aggressive in this series. Gotta imagine he'd be proud of what Halliburton's doing in this game.
Well, indeed. Remember Halliburton, the hamstring injury that ended his postseason bid early against Boston in the conference finals, lingered into the summer with Team USA, and was really the reason why he got off to such a slow start this season. But Halliburton's numbers since the All-Star break, just astounding for the Pacers. Here he comes again, underneath. Bryant turned back by Mobley.
Heck of a play by Mobley.
Here comes Garland. Near side, bad pass for Okoro. And they turn it over. Thomas Bryant, like a runaway freight train. And Indiana on a 17-2 run.
And it feels like they're up 20 right now. Just, it's a two-possession game, but it feels like they're in total control right now. Cavs playing without any confidence offensively.
Isaac Okoro unable to hit. And now to make matters worse, you got Donovan Mitchell in the Cleveland locker room. Neesmith missed it at the cup. Boy, Bryant and Okoro get tangled up. Donovan Mitchell now back out of the tunnel. He's at the end of the bench now, walking towards the coaches. But the Cavs in the quarter are 3 of 17 shooting. Wade's gonna fire. And they just cannot find any offense.
It's kind of painful.
Boy, dazzling pass. Halliburton to Bryant. The Indiana Pacers try to break the Cavaliers' spirit, and they're up 8.
They are getting whatever they want offensively, taking control here in the third.
Let's check out the limelight presented by Corona. Look at what Indiana has done with the shooting tonight. First quarter, quiet start, but boy, they have ignited their offense and unlocked something as they now have opened up an 8-point lead.
Well, they were patient. They withstood that initial onslaught from Cleveland. As you see Donovan Mitchell back on the bench. And their defense has really dictated. And the Cavs have helped them. I just feel like offensively they have just gotten away from who they are as a team. A lot of self-willing going on right now.
Boy, they miss again. No field goals for the Cavs in almost 7 minutes. They've missed 17 of their last 18 shots. Mitchell on the bench. And it's just crazy again. This was the second best offensive rating team ever during the regular season.
All you have to do is look at how few passes they make per possession compared to what you see. The Pacers typically move the ball side to side. Rarely do you see a possession where one guy just takes it like there, but Halliburton's found his rhythm, and he is sensing the moment.
Ty Jerome, meantime, inserted for the first time tonight, and he's going to go for broke. He's been on that bench all night, and he uncorks one to try to breathe some life into the Cavaliers.
He's definitely gotten the crowd back into it. I mean, it feels like they're down 20, but it's basically a two-possession game.
Thomas Bryant coming back door. That was the first field goal for Cleveland in more than 7 minutes.
And the issue, too, now they're going to bring Jared Allen. I was about to say, they are really small, the Cavs, right now, with DeAndre Hunter being the tallest player on the floor. So defensively, they're going to be challenged.
Darius Garland, inside of 2 minutes left in the quarter, changed his mind. He went glass. Tough shot with Bryant on his hip. Pacers looking to push. Toppin, Euro step, and he's headed to the free throw line. Monstrous play by Toppin. It's an 11-point lead.
But every possession is an individual attack, and then that just unleashes the Pacers in the open floor. They are always looking to put pressure on your transition defense, especially when you run poor offense, which has really been the case this entire quarter for the Cavs.
Indiana, a top 5 team on the fast break this season in terms of transition points. Tonight, haven't had many fast break opportunities, but Toppin in the open floor gets them their 7th fast break point of the night, 3-point play, and their lead is a dozen. Ty Jerome hounded in the backcourt by Mathurin, poked away.
That's an 8-second. Oh, they got away. Officials missed it. It was definitely an 8-second violation.
Cavaliers trying to capitalize. Hunter elevates, missed it. Boy, he has been awfully quiet tonight since that good start. Remember, he hit his first 3 shots.
Well, I go back to it. Basketball is a game of rhythm, and it's really hard to get rhythm when every possession offensively is one guy just trying to create an opportunity for himself.
Mathurin, pretty drive on the reverse, just couldn't hit. Jerome's going to pull again, and he buries it.
He is at least giving them some life here in this third quarter.
Ty Jerome, he's got that spunk, trying to pick up Cleveland off the mat here in Game 5. Boy, here in Cleveland, this place was dead quiet just a couple of minutes ago, but Ty Jerome, who was on the bench the first 2.5 quarters, inserted by his head coach, Kenny Atkinson. He's hit 2 threes, and we got a 9-point game.
And Mitchell back in as well. And I tell you what, boy, did that get the crowd back into the game. This place felt like we were at a funeral there for a while. It was so quiet in here, just no energy in the building. Now all of a sudden, there's some hope.
T.J. McConnell reinserted by Rick Carlisle. Toppin trying to turn the corner. This is Bryant. He's going to pull a 3, and he hits.
And that's just good offense. Again, great defense, and all it takes is one breakdown towards the end there. Bryant delivers there with that corner triple.
Boy, Thomas Bryant, all 9 of his points have come in the quarter. Mitchell, tough shot. Or takes another contact and another hit. Every time he hits the floor, you can see him laboring back to his feet. How much left does Mitchell have in the gas tank? He's 4 of 16. He's going to shoot his 13th free throw of the night.
Well, he struggled. Garland also struggling in terms of their shot making in this game. And that is just not a recipe for success.
GA, his first field goal since there were 36 seconds left in the first quarter. Incredible.
And a lot of it is, again, I go back to what the Pacers are so good at, and the Cavs had been all season. There are times where you got to let your offense create offense. Ball movement, spacing.
Boy, McConnell, beautiful crossover. Mathurin on the dive, and he lays it in. Again, that's what McConnell brings this team. What a luxury to have as your backup point guard. As Indiana's lead back to 11.
And he's such a terrific decision maker, and it's, you know what's coming, and it's just so hard and to stay disciplined enough to keep him in front of you.
Final 7 seconds of the quarter. Here comes Hunter to the cup, over the top of Bryant. 1.5 inbound top end, gonna get off a clean look. And that'll get us to the end of the third quarter here in Cleveland. A 4-point halftime lead for the Cavs is now a 9-point deficit. The 2025 NBA playoffs are presented by Google. Second round coverage on TNT is presented by Wingstop, downtown Cleveland. And boy, the ultimate gut check moment for the Cavaliers, the 1 seed in the East. But how do they navigate this fourth quarter? Now, clearly their 2 guards physically wounded.
They're wounded, but they have not really played the game well either, and it's been a struggle for the Cavs. Moments ago, Jared spoke with Evan Mobley.
Evan, how do you guys get back to that start you had at the beginning of the game?
We got to play defense. That's the main thing. Get stops. And then in transition, we got to score.
Your backcourt clearly hobbled tonight. What can you guys do to make up for that?
It's the playoffs. We got to just suck it up, play through it, and get to our shots and knock them down.
All right, good luck, Evan. Appreciate it.
Thank you,
guys.
All right, Jared, great stuff. Well, this crowd on its feet, better than 19,000, trying to will the Cavaliers to a potential Game 6. Ty Jerome pulling this team back from the fire. 8 points for Jerome. Again, he was on the bench the first 2.5 quarters, if you've just joined us.
He has given them a nice spark, and really the only perimeter player that's been able to make some shots here for the Cavs.
Siakam 4 to shoot. Allen hedging. Siakam, tough shot. Loose ball, Mitchell. Jerome thought about it, gonna pull it back. With Nembhard getting there for the Pacers. Donovan Mitchell fakes, Mathurin bites. And Donovan Mitchell's going to shoot free throws. Boy, Mathurin looked like he may have pulled back enough, but there was just enough contact as Mark Lindsay makes the call.
Yeah, good play by Mitchell to initiate the contact. But again, that starts because of ball movement. And you can see he gets the lean in there. That's an easy call for the official to make.
The Cavaliers in the third quarter outscored 33-20 as they try to climb out of what is a 6-point hole as we play in the opening minute of this fourth quarter. A Cavaliers team that posted 64 wins in the regular season, second most in franchise history. But none of that will matter if they can't find a way to win here in Game 5.
Looks like they're starting to get a little rhythm offensively. And again, a ton of time. You've just got to, if you're the Cavs, you got to focus on time and score, not get ahead of yourself, stay within your offense. And more importantly, they're going to have to string together some stops.
Mobley and Garland on the bench. Kenny Atkinson trying to get him a quick breather here as this place comes alive again in a raucous scene here in Cleveland. McConnell working against Jerome, knocked away. Mitchell, it's loose, turnover. Mitchell doesn't have numbers, he doesn't care. To the wreck, Mathurin gets him from the back.
How about the effort there by Mathurin, not giving up on the play.
And then Mathurin is able to create the contact at the other end as he collides with his nemesis Hunter. What a sequence by Mathurin.
Yeah, he just never gives up. on that play there. Just a great effort, and then runs the other way to create the contact. They don't give him free throws there, but terrific effort by Mathurin.
So side out, McConnell will throw in. 90 seconds gone by in the fourth. Mathurin. Mitchell trying to tie him up, but the official's going to get Mitchell in a reach-in. James Capers makes the call. Mitchell looking over at the assistants who have that quick monitor to determine if they want to challenge here. They will not.
He did have a lot of ball on that play, but also keep in mind it wasn't a shooting foul. You don't want to give up that challenge in a close game.
Both coaches still have their challenges. 5 to shoot. McConnell wheeling underneath. Hunter the steal. Here he comes into the chest of Turner. Look at Turner. Boy, the reach-in clean strip. What a defensive play by Turner to take away a layup.
Yeah, I think Rick Carlisle has seen enough. He brings back Halliburton and Nesmith, sensing the moment here. Still a ton of time, and Garland also checking in, and a nice hand for Ty Jerome, who was, oh no, they're going to leave Ty Jerome in.
What do you think?
Listen, he's playing well. He's giving them a spark here. They're going to get Mitchell out. There's still 10 minutes to go, so they're probably thinking, let's see if we can get Mitchell a little break here, and hopefully he can finish strong.
Here comes Garland. Out to Hunter. Slashes in the leaner too much. Gets it to Strus. And Max Strus just hasn't been his night. He's 0 of 5 from deep and 0 of 8 from the field. Siakam. Backing down, fades, and hits.
That's a great possession there. Siakam has felt real comfortable with that matchup on that mid post with Strus.
Boy, Garland's 3 rims out. Offensive carom for Allen. Reset Hunter. Hunter's going to hoist one, and he buries it. A potential 4-point play from Hunter.
How crazy is this game? I'm thinking, I didn't love this shot, to be honest, by Hunter. But clearly there, Siakam just doesn't give him any room to land, and that's what you're looking at. You can see clearly he's in his landing area there.
With the Cavs down 6, Hunter with a gigantic play for the Cavaliers.
And all of a sudden in a game that seemed like it was lost, and then how about getting an offensive rebound?
Here comes Garland, scoop and layup, got it! Turns out to be a 5-point trip for Cleveland. The Cleveland Cavaliers on a 10-2 run. And we got a 1-point game on TNT. Well, the fun here on TNT just getting started. Our TNT game break presented by PayPal. As soon as this one is over, we will get you out to Oklahoma City for the swing game 5. Jokic, Gilgeous-Alexander getting themselves ready with that thing tied at 2. Ian Eagle, Grant Hill, Stephanie Reddy will have the call. And what a response, GA, by the Cavs. Again, they looked dead in the water just a couple of minutes ago. They've cut it to a point.
They're back in it, back engaged. And what had been a struggle for them all series, really, the bench, all of a sudden Ty Jerome comes in and gives them a little spark.
Halliburton coming hard to the cup.
How good has Tyrese Halliburton been all night?
That ends a 10-2 run by the Cavs as we cross the 9-minute mark. Darius Garland with Shepard chasing contact, and he's going to shoot free throws. Boy, wise play by Garland with Halliburton sensing the moment going to the cup.
But that possession there, great offensive execution, creates the space, and then Halliburton does what he does as well as anybody in our league, makes the right read time and time again. And similarly, this last possession, that was a really good offensive set for Cleveland. They got some motion, they got some movement, a little misdirection, creating some angles to attack. this Pacers team.
As we take a little peek at the upcoming playoff schedule, tomorrow a couple of game 5s here on TNT, Knicks and Celtics, with New York looking to close that thing out in Boston, and Golden State trying to keep their season alive. NBA.com or visit the NBA app for the complete playoff schedule.
Yeah, and our thoughts and prayers with Jason Tatum and his family. It was so sad to see him go down the way he did. Such an incredible player as Miles Turner knocks down a deuce there and extend that lead to 3.
Boy, this is gut check time for Cleveland. 3-point game, 8.5 left. Darius Garland pulls it back. He will fire, and it belongs to Indiana.
That's kind of been their night from 3, right? They just have not been able to knock down shots that we have seen them over the course of the season deliver on. And now we got a little bit of an issue trying to retrieve the basketball.
Max Strus is going to give the ball boy here a little bit of an assist.
All right, there we go.
So 8:25 left. Donovan Mitchell reinserted by Kenny Atkinson. Can't waste any more time. Mitchell 4 of 17, 0 of 7 from 3, but he's 14 of 16 at the line. And what has been another gritty performance by the Cavs franchise star. Siakam wants to take Strus into the corner. Nembhard a 3. He got it.
Just they do such a good job of spacing it and just making the right read there. Siakam with a nice delivery for that corner triple.
Second 3 tonight for Nembhard. He's got a dozen. Here comes Hunter trying to create the space against Halliburton. No, Mobley able to tap it in. Massive play for Cleveland.
And you love the aggressiveness, but if you're Cleveland, don't forget about Mobley.
Mobley's got 22 and 8. The officials are going to get Hunter here way out on the perimeter.
You don't like the foul, but you like the effort. You like seeing Hunter engaged, being a little physical at the point of attack there. That's a tough call.
Third against Hunter, so now Cleveland only has one more foul left to give with still 7.5 left. Siakam crashing to the basket.
Love that play there. They overextend the defense, and Halliburton gets it to Siakam. Late was the rotation by Cleveland.
Boy, Mitchell taking the hip check from Nesmith. That'll get him to the line. Ty Jerome's going to check in, waiting at the table for Cleveland.
And you see they overextend defensively, and then Siakam able to attack. If you're Mobley in that situation, you got to trust that weak side defense and step up on that possession and not allow Siakam to get to the launching pad.
Donovan Mitchell, 17th and 18th free throws of the night. Just incredible. Just wondered what he would look like on that left ankle that he aggravated. Unable to play the second half the other night in game 4.
The other issue right now, too, Spiro, is will this group on the floor be able to get stops for Cleveland? This is not their best defensive unit, and they continue to struggle from the line.
Mitchell, by the way, has taken more free throws tonight than the entire Pacers team. 17, make it 18 to 16. Halliburton, boy, what a play by Jerome. Got the clean strip. Mitchell. First 3 tonight for Donovan Mitchell.
And the concern about this unit defensively, they come up with the steal that leads to that triple. Let's see if they can string together some stops.
Halliburton into the corner. Siakam. Front rim. Rebound. Garland. Mobley, 7 of 11 from the field. Now to Garland. 9 on the timer. Mitchell on a 3. Well, this place is ready to erupt again.
And again, they don't knock it down, but I do like that possession in terms of the offense, and they're going to get Ty Jerome there on the foul. He doesn't like the call. There's some contact there, but how about the steal? Ty Jerome, not known for his defense, but able to come up with the deflection and steal. And Donovan Mitchell saying to himself, finally able to knock down his first triple.
One thing to keep in mind here is we hit the midway point of the quarter, GA. Both teams already are out of fouls, so that looms large. You see the line from Mitchell in a 2-point game. Halliburton sets the table. Siakam misses the leaner. Cavs looking to push with Mobley. Reset Garland. Garland uses the Jerome screen, and he dribbled it off of his foot. Nesmith was there. Here comes Siakam. Nesmith to the rack, lays it in. What a sequence by Nesmith. The steal and then the lay-in. 4-point Pacers lead.
And a great job of attacking the rim on that possession. And Darius Garland is really laboring right now.
Double-double for Nesmith, 13 points, 10 rebounds as we come up on 5 minutes left. And potentially Cleveland season. Mitchell, deep shot. Donovan Mitchell trying to put this team on his back yet again. 29 for Mitchell. Nesmith steps into a three. Too much. Turner offensive rebound. Halliburton, this is Nembhard, open three. He sticks it.
How about Turner coming up with that offensive rebound there that leads to the triple.
Well, remember Rick Carlisle challenged Siakam and Turner to rebound better after game 3, and boy, have they answered the bell. 4-point lead. Jerome blocked by Halliburton. Halliburton on a push to the cup, lays it up and in. Tyrese Halliburton at both ends. And he can give Indiana a 7-point lead.
Jerome doesn't like the call, but definitely seemed like there was a little contact. But it's the block shot here by Halliburton that leads to the push out in transition. And you can see the slap down there. Huge play there from Halliburton.
Where you just think of what a money player he has been over the last 2 postseasons in the big moments. The buzzer beater here to win game 2, the clincher in the previous round against Milwaukee. And Halliburton trying to end the Cavs season here tonight. Mitchell into the paint, tough bounce, Hunter on the attack. Turner was there. Loose ball, 1 second, they didn't reset, and they're not gonna get it off.
Again, that's just another bad possession. I understand you want to make a play for your team, but Hunter had an opportunity to swing that for a wide open 3. Decided to attack the shot blocker.
Miles Turner with his 5th block tonight. Second game in this series that Turner has 5 blocks, just incredible. Pacers slow it down. Siakam. Jerome defending on the perimeter. Here he comes into the paint. Mobley. Siakam saves. This is Nesmith. Tough shot deep in the corner. Mobley clears. Off the floor, Hunter. Transition 3. Well short. And again, Turner was there. Halliburton slows it down just for a moment. Going to get him reset as we come up on the final 3 minutes here in Cleveland. As that tension rises even more. Halliburton fires. Way off. Mitchell has it.
This is a big possession here for the Cavs. They've got to get a score.
Mobley picks up the dribble. Cavaliers with possession, down 7. Mitchell Indiana is out of fouls. Mitchell outside. Jerome. Mitchell loose ball. Boy, he misses point blank. And then they're going to get Strus. That's going to put Turner at the line. Boy, what a back-breaking sequence for the Cavaliers. They're down 7 with 2:38 left, potentially in their season.
In the one loss for the Pacers, and how has this young man responded? 6 made threes. He's been a difference maker defensively and just sets the tone consistently for the Pacers. And boy, has he delivered here tonight.
The Indiana Pacers, with 8 minutes left in the second quarter tonight, were down 19 points. They put together a 19-2 run in the third quarter to retake the lead. And now can they hold on here? Miles Turner to the free throw line, up 7 with 2:38 left. If you're Kenny Atkinson, what are you thinking about here down the stretch?
They've got to score quickly, and then more importantly, if they can get some shots to fall, can they get stops? They have struggled here. A lot of times when you try to get more aggressive defensively and you overextend, which is what they've done, you just open up passing lanes and driving lanes, and the Pacers have taken advantage.
What a night that the stars for this Indiana team are putting together. 29 for Halliburton. Miles Turner, the big free throw. Six-point game, only the second 3 tonight for Mitchell.
This is going to be the key. Can you get stops?
Siakam, 6 to shoot, the spin, the shot, missed it. Rebound Strus, and here we go. Inside of 2 minutes, here comes Mitchell, couple of hard fakes. Neesmith not biting. Mitchell is fouled. Boy, he was beyond the three-point line as Ben Taylor makes the call. It'll be Mitchell to the line for 3, and he can cut the deficit in half.
Yeah, an easy call for the official. And Neesmith there just got caught trying to aggressively close out, and credit Mitchell feeling that defender coming and just launched a triple there to get to the line.
Donovan Mitchell clearly laboring through that aggravated left ankle injury. Boy, he's missed a couple of critical free throws. He's now 15 of 19 at the stripe tonight. And these are giant misses with 1:49 left.
And he's really struggled the entire series from the free throw line. He's gotten there consistently, but typically he shoots at about 86% on the season. He's been well below that here in this series. And you can sense it now. The crowd just a little anxious.
Boy, the fatigue. You just think of everything that's been on his shoulder. Just the incredible burden that he's had. He misses all 3 free throws. Unbelievable.
That's harder to do than you would think for a guy at his level from the line.
Here comes Halliburton. Turn back, Mobley. We're down to 90 seconds. Into the corner. Mitchell bangs in a 3.
Wow. Incredible to knock that down after missing those 3 free throws.
Donovan Mitchell playing on fumes. 3-point game. Here comes Nembhard into the paint, a little bit of contact, and he is headed to the free throw line. Andrew Nembhard with a massive potential 3-point play.
Does a great job with a little dislodge and then just strong enough to go up through contact. You can see the grab there by Garland. The fans don't like it. That is a huge play for Nembhard.
1:07 left. Nembhard can make it a 6-point game. Donovan Mitchell has hit the last 13 points for the Cavs. Here he comes again, extends, missed it. Siakam was there, and we're down to 55 seconds. Halliburton is fouled. He'll shoot free throws. And the Pacers can extend to an 8-point lead.
And the Pacers have just been so good here, really, since that midway through the second quarter. They've been far more disciplined, just locked in defensively. And 56 seconds away from back-to-back conference finals.
Can you think about their playoff run of the conference finals last year? Their last 3 opportunities at a series clinching win. They've won all 3 games. They did it in the previous round against Milwaukee. Halliburton was the hero again. Can they finish the job here in Game 5? Garland down to 46 seconds. Hunter bump. Fires. Mobley hits. What a play by Mobley. With Cleveland running out of seconds, 43.7. And Mobley can cut it to 5.
Yeah, just a little bit of a push there to get away with that one, and Mobley able to go up, gets control there, which is important on that putback.
Evan Mobley, 22 points, 11 rebounds. Boy, they have missed 4 straight free throws. 36 seconds. And precious seconds coming off the clock.
You don't have to foul here, but you have got to come up with a stop.
5 to shoot. Turner, he puts it down. Miles Turner with the biggest shot of his season. And Indiana is up 9, and they can taste it.
Back-to-back conference finals are here for the taking.
Season it has been for the Cleveland Cavaliers. Just think of everything this team accomplished. The championship expectations, 64 wins, second most in franchise history. Kenny Atkinson, the coach of the year. But boy, that is all the furthest thing from their mind right at this moment.
Yeah, there's no question. It is painful. You know, the expectations are so high, and you just couldn't get anything going from 3. That's really kind of been the story of this series for the Cavs. They just have not had an ability to make threes. 9 of 35 here tonight. And the Indiana Pacers are heading back to the conference final.
The Indiana Pacers, this resurgent, ascending franchise, has punched their ticket to the Eastern Conference Finals for a 2nd straight year. They have eliminated the 64-win top seed in the East, the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they do it in 5 games by taking all 3 here in Cleveland.
How impressive. And you know, a lot of talk about last year. They got lucky. Things went their way. How sweet this has to feel. The validation. This team, the Pacers.
Я любил, и я изведал безумных миль любовных мук и поражения, и победы, и имя враг, и слово друг. Их было много, что я знаю, воспоминания тени сна. Я только странно повторяю отсюда. Мудрено про тебя говорят. Для иных ты и муза, и чудо. Для меня ты мучение и ад. Я не знаю, зачем на рассвете. Сейчас когда уже
It's so cold. Now I'm wondering how I'm gonna get you back. Hey, nothing about to make it right. Jamila kiyape mun. Na dawo gida ban ga Jamila ba. Na dawo gida ban ji muryanta ba. Hey, wayo, a neman mun Jamila. Jamila, don Allah gida gida, babu abin da zai raba mu har abada. Jamila, zuciya na ɓaciwa. Gida gida, gida gida, gida gida. Ooh, no matter what people do or say, this love will never die. If I knew I never hurt you so bad. Drinking so much, too much women in my life. Kwashe mata. Jamila, I'm so sorry. I mean a girl. Inna dagida na gan Jamila na. Inna dagida inji muryan Jamila. Inji abincin Jamila. Wayo.